Hi friends, hope you are doing fine. So, as a part of our uh, the new things that today we are going to discuss about journal. This features is very good feature, particularly in Argent 8. The journal CTL is a tool for where we can query a lot of as services like the kernel and user services log. So let us suppose if any systems got a crash, or if we want to know why the system got crashed, or any kind of services which is impacting systems, how we can troubleshoot all those things, how we can collect all the logs of our system uh, with kernel CTL, that we are going to discuss about. And because particularly in Red Hat 8, we have a different utility to collect the logs. Apart from where log messages, we do have a journal CTL where all system D logs will be there. So today we are concentrating our all discussion particularly on journal CTL. So journal CTL is a tool for looking at kernel and user services logs available on all Linux distributions. It is the interface to journal D system D unified logging system. So whatever the services, whatever the kernel messages, everything will be there inside journal CTL. So if I want to know what happened exactly during this particular time, and why system got crashed, and what services impacting the systems, we can collect all those logs with generosity. And generosity is utility for querying. You can query and display data from journal D system D logging services. Since journal D stores logs data in binary format instead of plain text format, journal serial is a standard way of reading log messages processed by journal. Generally, it stores data in binary format, not in plain text format. And in the following, you can say that if any system or services like doing logs, and generally is collecting all those logs, you can retrieve the logs. We can query those logs. Like let us suppose we have a SSHD service. So if I want to know about particularly about the SSHD services or MySQL services, we can collect all the logs of that particular service. And let us suppose if I want to know about the kernel logs, what exactly it is happening in kernel, how we can collect all those logs. Using general CTL, we can collect all those logs and we can gather the data. If let us suppose if I want to know the RC root cause analysis of the why the system got crashed or why system services is getting impacted, we can do via general CTL. You can see that general CTL utility you can gather older logs also, but for that we need to make the general CTL persistent because it's by default you can say we do have a two logs, system D general D logs, which is configured to only keep logs in memory, and RSY syslog which get messages set to the system general D and stores them on a disk like var log messages. But general D signal is configured only to keep logs in memory in binary form. So how we can make the persistent? do journalctl so that we can fetch older logs also that we are going to see today, and how we can make journalctl, because journalctl is the only, as long as our system is running, they will keep the logs in memory. And once you boot the system, all those logs memory will go. So we need to make journalctl persistent. Today we are going to see how we can collect all the logs and how we can make journalctl persistent. That we are going to see, and how we can fetch different logs of the services, for kernel services, for any kind of services which is configured on our services, and how we can collect all those logs that we are going to see today. So we do have an implementation as well. So we will, you can see that here in journalctl, using EF, you can collect all the logs, new messages, whatever the messaging is there that you can collect. And if you want to know about the SSD services unit, what exactly SSD services unit is doing, you can collect this log. And if you want to know about any kind of emergency error or any kind of message which is throwing by system, then you can collect using journalctl also. And if you want to know about the last system boot, and if your system journalctl is a persistent, it's not volatile, then you can collect the logs by journalctl -1. We can collect all the boot logs of system signal, why the system got crashed. And if you want to know about the older log, and if your journalctl is persistent, then you can collect all the logs by date wise information. And if you want to know about the output mode, verbose output mode, this will show the field is stored in the journal with the field name and answer. So how we can make journals? By default, you know that the new system, the current version, journal is in, so there will be in this run log journal. This is the path where it is storing that, and it's a volatile which is stored in TMPS. This implies that once a reboot, all stored information will be lost. So you journalctl is not persistent, so we need to make it persistent. We need to make it permanent, so that if the directory, even if the server is getting booted, we can, the logs will be there, and we should not lose all those logs. So in order to troubleshoot our services, kernel messages, so how we can make the persistence that we are going to see today, we will create a one directory var log journal, and we will change the ownership of the directory using chown command, and we will give the we'll set the set UID, and we will change the location of the system D general. By default, it is storing in run log general, and once we make it persist, it will, the logs information will be changed, and it will store here in var log general. And after that, even after the services get rebooted, or even if our system got rebooted, our log will be, general D log will be persist, because general D logs is very important, particularly in order to troubleshoot, in order to view the system D logs. System D logs will be always there in journalctl. So kernel boot logs, and these things we are going to see today. And today we will have a demonstration particularly on journalctl. So you can see here uh, what exactly by default, you know that we have a var log messages, which is all the services, all the activities, their logs will be stored on the disk. But the system D logs we can get using journalctl. So systemd is a service, a centralized services where our all logs and their information we can get it using journalctl. So today we will do that services, how we can make journalctl persist, how we can make our services persist, particularly for journalctl, that we are going to see today. So let us check all those things so that we can. So here you can see that we have one system over here. We have a Linux RHL current 8.1 version like we have, and if you can see my where log where log messages will be there, where system information logging system. So here all the messages will be stored, but journalctl locations is different, and in order to make a persistent journalctl information, here you can see that journalctl is storing the information in run log journal. So let us go on to that place so that you can have an idea on that. Cd run log. Here you can see our journal information. So cd journal will go the information. If you can see, all system general D logs will be there in bits. You cannot check all those things. You can see that you cannot check all those things. So how we can, if I want to know about anything about the system D logs, you can see the system D logs will be there, but it's not persist. So once the services will be rebooted, or once that the system will get rebooted, journal CTL logs will be lost, and you cannot view after that. So how we can make it persist? How we can make it permanent so that even the system got crashed, or even the system services got rebooted, our general CTL, because general CTL is storing all system D logs. You can see that system D logs will be generated. Whatever the system D services logs will be generated, everything is stored in general CTL. And these logs is very, very important in order to troubleshoot our services, in order to troubleshoot any kind of incident, any kind of things. So today we will make it persist. Right now you can see that well, general system here we will change the path of general CTL into where log. So here right now that particular access path is not there. So today we will make it change the path of general CTL. So let us see how we can do that. So if you want to know about any user's last log, what exactly how it performs, so if you can see about any user, Since root, when it last login, we can check all those things. You can see that this user last login little bit older. So there are several users will be there. So if I want to know about any kind of information about that password related information system, so how we can do that? If I want to know about root, so every information of general related, it will be stored over there. And if I want to know about general CTL, all logs generated by services, generated by system D, what exactly happened, DNF information, these things will be stored in general CTLs. So if I want to know about system D, SSD services, how we to, if you will want to know about SSD services only. So here you can see how SSD services listening, in which port it is listening, and how it is configured. MySQL services, if I want to know about MySQL services. Right now it's not started, no entries found. And you know that all this information only coming from this day. Older logs will not be available because it is right now it's not persist. All the information is stored in run log general. If I want to gather all the older logs, we need to make it persist. So how we can do that, that we are going to see today. So let us make one directly with file so that we can change the path of journal. So I'm creating one. I created. Now I will change the ownership of that. I will change the ownership of that journal. So now if you can see, their ownership is changed. Now we make nav their CTUID informations. Here you can see CTUID information has been set so that the system user only can do modification, any kind of. Now if I want to change the user system D log information, so now what we will do, we will change and we will kill all the services, whatever the services earlier logs is there, system D logs, we are changing the path. Now if I will check, see here you can see all the logs, where log general information, system D general information have been changed. now even if our system got rebooted, we will not lose our logs. We cannot lose our these logs, and these logs are system D logs is very important in order to troubleshoot any kind of services information or temporary informations that we exist in system that we can do today. So if I want to know, if let us see, the if I want to know the pattern of that journal.ctl, how using verbose method you can also check all this messages information, kernel log information, and services log information generated by system D. These logs you can check all those things logs using verbose method. So here you can check all those things, and these now these logs persist in var log journal, and even if the system got rebooted, you will not lose the logs. Earlier it is volatile, so once you boot the system your log will be lost, but now the logs will persist and you can check all those things. Like these are the kernel logs. You can see the time stamp information, the machine ID, host name, everything you can check here in kernel log, services log, everything, whatever the system is generating, all the logs information you can query, we can troubleshoot all these things. So if you want to know about any how we can check, because generally the system D logs, let us suppose if I want to know about any process information. Right now you can see we have HTTPD, and you can see the PID of that 1549, and I want to know particularly about HTTPD. So how we can know about any process, what exactly, how it works particularly in the system D. We can check by service PID also. So here you can see 1549. So system is not booted, the services is not. So let us suppose we want to know about HTTPD service. You can see that all the system D log, like all the logs, their information is there, but the system D logs only stored in journal.ctl. So whatever the services which is running right now, and if I want to know about their process, we can check all the process using the journalctl. So you can see here that particularly about the system D process, if I want to know about that, you can see all the information over here about how system D resolve, and if any kind of Apache services, like what is their PI process ID. Process ID is 990. So if the logs will not be there, then it will say it's not exist. So here you can see the MySQL services logs, particularly whatever the system D had generated, all the logs will be stored on that. So now our these general setting is already persist. So even if we reboot the systems, we can check. And if right now, if you want to know about the any kind of boot logs, right now the data is not available because the system is just now got, we have changed the path. So boot logs only it will be available once you reboot the system. So that's why we make it persist so that we can check our older logs also. So these are the main things, particularly in Red Hat 8 to view the logs of that. You can see here. Here what exactly we did. We want to know about the system D services, how it's working, particularly in the system D, HTTPD. HTTPD in JSON format, if I want to see what exactly that services, how it is running, and which particular port is open, where it is listening, all these information if I want to see, then you can check all those logs and what is their process ID 930. So if I want to know 930 about this process, you can see that with particularly where it is listening, in which port it is listening, how it is working. These information and general logs, we can check all those logs. So now if I want to know about the kernel logs, we can also check the kernel logs here. See the kernel logs. All the kernel logs information, only want to know about the kernel log. And these logs is very important, and we have to make it persist so that even after reboot you have the logs. Otherwise this logs is volatile. Once you reboot the system, so services will, logs will not be there. So that's why we make it persist. We change the location of the journalctl from run log to var log. So now we have If I want to know about any kind of cell information, bash cell, how it is working and what exactly, so we can collect all those logs here. You can see the bash information, how it is, what is their process ID, failure, their backlog information, rate limit, every information we can see here. You can see that what database MariaDB is probably, so earlier we configured MariaDB. So these all system logs is very important, and we can troubleshoot all those logs using journalctl, and we need to make it persist so that even if you reboot your system, you can gather all the logs information. So right now, if you my other server, if I will check here, we do have another server here. If I want to know the boot logs, you can see the boot logs here because it's already persist all the older information, it will show. But if you want to know about here boot logs, you can, boot log is not available because we just configured all our journalctl. In other server boot logs is available. We can check our older logs also. So today we discussed particularly on journalctl, so how it is working and what are the things is there, particularly in journalctl. This tool is used for collecting user service logs, kernel information, and by default it is storing in run log. How we can make it persist, how if I want to know about any kind of information particularly for generated by the systemd unit, uh, any kind of emergency or a boot logs, or if any kind of query you want to know about general d logs, systemd logs, you can check by journalctl. You can see that journalctl systemd general d, which is configured only for deep memory, like only it's volatile. So if you not make it persist, it will go. So how we can make it persist, that we have seen today. How we can collect all the information whatever the systemd is generating, because systemd, the main service where in particularly in systemd and system RSQL 7 or 8, all these is centralized and controlled by systemd. Systemd logs you can check only using journalctl. So we have seen like how any kind of systemd unit services information we can gather. You can also check any kind of emergency errors or anything which is generated using journalctl. Boot logs we can see kernel logs. After making persist, we can check all the older logs as well, and we can check by a verbose method because general logs only it's in a binary format, so it's not in readable format. So in order to make it readable, we can check by a verbose method also, in particularly in JSON format also, that we have seen today, and how we can make the generosity persist, that we have seen how we can change the ownership of the path of that logs, that we have seen today. So I hope this information is very important, particularly to troubleshoot any kind of system D logs or any kind of services kernel logs. These logs, collecting all those logs information is very important, and it will make particularly incident management related information. If anything, any incident came or any kind of root cause analysis, we just wanted to know. Where log messages is there, but it's stored only the uh, logs which is generated by system. But if I want to know about any kind of system D log, journalctl is very important to know about those information what system D has generated. And system D logs by default it's volatile. So once this system it got rebooted, it will go away. So how we can make it persist? That we have seen today, and we checked all the informations here. So I hope this information is very important and it will help to troubleshoot the system. I am stopping this session right now and we'll come back with some another important information, particularly the main features of RHCL8 hybrid clouds and other things also. Thanks. Thanks for watching.